I think I've come up with a plan. Well, I've had the plan for quite some time now. It is 6:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a very brisk Friday morning, December the 7th, 2018. I am TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I have come to the conclusion that maybe it is time to listen to my gut, what my gut has been telling me for about 2 years or so now. Terrell, my real name. Van, my real last name, surname. TstreeT Controversy, my alias. Cover other stuff. You are limiting yourself. You are limiting yourself. Cover other things. But however, I am just one person. I'm just one person. I really have grown to understand, especially over the last 4 months since I've been the most focused I've ever been in my adult life on everything. I've really grown to understand that it is not fully understood how much work I put into what I do, whether it's with people in my personal life, family, friends, even on YouTube, that I have to watch all of these fights. Not just the live cards, but the pre-fights on guys like Victor Spock Mendez. They call him Spock because he literally looks like Spock from Star Trek. Alexandra Mazdazak Lopez fights this weekend on HBO. And the point is, just like, listen, I've realized that in order to succeed, we have to open the doors and we have to be full 100% transparent. You can never go wrong and lose with transparency, ever. Now, I completely understand that when you announce your shortcomings in anything in life, that's when you're going to get the most feedback. So, of course, obviously, this is by design. I know what we're doing because I want the comments to be read and I want it to be understood that, hey, listen, even though it's hard to believe, I've dealt with it my whole entire life where people never understood my the way I handle things. When I was younger, I can't say it was a gang because Philly didn't really have gangs, but I was kind of involved in a gang, kind of. I was because of my size at the time, even though I was skinny compared to what I am now, 6'3", 273 pounds, as I weighed myself in earlier this week. I was like a street enforcer. So I couldn't play basketball. I couldn't party with the bitches at the club, excuse my language. I had to be the one watching everybody with the gun on my waist, like making sure nothing popped off. Then, if some shit did pop off, I would get like a motherfucking signal, motherfucker tip his hat, like, or motherfucking stroke his chin. Then I'm supposed to come in and wreck shop. That's when my hands is all like, you can't see him a little bit. Used to call us the peacemaker. But I don't have any fingerprints either for the most part. I tried to I still have some. But the 90s and the early 2000s was crazy for me. So now, being a 35-year-old man, completely legitimate. Right now, outside of boxing, I'm a care manager. I'm a web designer. My job titles: care manager, web designer, certified nursing assistant, father's rights advocate, vlogger, commentator, editor-in-chief, all. But I guess what I'm saying is this. There was an email. Hold on, I gotta check this. I guess what I'm saying is this. I put a lot. It took a lot of years to clean up my past image. Especially my pre-college life. People used to think I was a motherfucking psychopath. I never knew where they got that from. But when you grew up in the environment that I grew up in, and when I was raised by my grandparents, so they weren't middle class, but they were well off enough for me basically to pretty much for them to teach me things and take me places like Disney World, family vacation, stuff like that. But also they lived in the hood. So once I became like 13, 14, I got involved in all that shit. And it wasn't me wanting to get involved. I got involved. I was forced into it. Like I was literally put into like a program where a street program where I was beaten every day by multiple motherfuckers every single day for probably like a year. I don't even remember. A year, maybe 2 years straight, like body beating, held down, and like go one-on-one, fight now. On some Fight Club type shit. Probably had many concussions. Probably don't even know about it. Used to go home bruised all up. Thank God I was dark skinned. But my grandparents used to see, what's wrong with you, boy? T-shirt all fucked up. Whatever shirt I had wasn't on. But getting put the figure 4 on you in the middle of the street. This was back in like the 90s, 2000s. I guess what I'm saying is this: I take what I do in boxing very seriously. And I've realized that it's time for me to start moving on because they really don't respect what I'm doing. They don't. Or if you think about, for example, boxing coverage is going into the streaming. Boxing broadcast is going to the streaming age. But yet they're trying to appeal to the demographic of what? Let's say they're trying to make new boxing fans from 13 to 24, and then hopefully they become longtime boxing fans. But then you still got these people in suits and ties and conveying boxing in a way like, for example, Dan Rayfield can't appeal to new boxing fans. No disrespect. I love Dan Rayfield to death. I think the Boxing Beat, if it still comes on, was a really good show. Because he gets a really good guest on there. And because he's ESPN, he gets those guests. But how do you create new boxing fans in that way? For example, when I stream press conferences, we had no disrespect to them at all. Like Tom Loeffler, even though I haven't met him before, I actually met him before. I went to the Klitschko Jennings press conference. Cool dude. But my God, those press conferences be boring as fuck. That shit was like an hour and 40 minutes. So what I do is I stream it, provide commentary over it. Not that when I was busy. But what we do is here, without having to be at the press conferences, we've learned that we can stream the press conferences. And also, we're more than confident that, by the way, let me say this. We're not doing anything illegal here. Nothing. I stand by that. Even though we are in the process of retaining a intellectual properties attorney, it's expensive. We have been consulting, and our channel has been viewed. And basically, the problem is they can't copyright us, but they can block us, if that makes sense. Meaning, we had a big battle with CBS Events this weekend in regards to they took my original Fury versus Wilder versus Fury post-fight videos down. Then I had to re-upload them without highlights. Now that is it's very controversial and it's complex, but I did talk on Tuesday, and we do feel that what they did was illegal. Because for the last video I did for the night, Fury versus Wilder versus Fury, earlier they took my Ortiz versus Kaufman, Joyce versus Hanks, Stevenson versus Volstik, but I originally edited that and took the highlights out and was getting ready to re-upload it. But with respect to Adonis Stevenson, because I've been in a coma before, just scrapped it. But then when it came to long story short, when it came to my Wilder Fury video, I made sure to only use 15 seconds, like 14 seconds, not even 15 seconds of content, fair use, just to see if they would strike it and block it, and they did. So that's when I knew, okay, they think that. But long story short, I did get confirmed on Tuesday that, yeah, but we're not in a situation to push the issue yet, because we're trying to handle the situation peacefully. So I don't want people to think that I'm just on here just doing these highlights and press confidence. We're without knowing that we're doing the right thing. For example, we're confident enough that our content, especially when I add the chat to it on screen, is transformative enough to be considered fair use. But when it comes to Top Rank, they put their press conferences behind of a paywall. You have to have ESPN Plus. So that is, I'm trying to figure, it's weird. And we can't use it like we was advised, yeah, don't really fuck with it. It's it's weird because press conferences, Like that should be free because you want, like, it's supposed to be to sell the event and let people know. But also ESPN Plus with their million subscriber plus, not because of just boxing, but everything else. ESPN Plus at $5 a month is very, 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 how can I say it? I forgot the word. It's worth it for all the stuff you get. Especially if you're an NFL or NBA or MLB fan, you get that ESPN insight. It's worth it. But it's just like weird. Why don't you put press conferences behind that? So I cover the press conferences, but I have to be careful because if they copyright me, even though we can take them to court and the judge may be on some shit like, well, why would you put that on? Like, it's just, we don't want to fuck with it. 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 But the issue we're having right now is we know, and we have the statistical analytical data. For example, Steven Espinoza, the head of Showtime Sports, was just on a media call. We covered it here, where he was talking about the Snapchat stories and how basically Wilder versus Fury, even though it did around 300 to 330,000 pay-per-view buys, plus or minus, still a very successful event. But the way it was trending globally means more to where, okay, even though we know a lot of you scumbag motherfuckers streamed the fight when you shouldn't have, and y'all want to talk about how much fighters should be and should not be making, which makes no sense because you're not giving back to the sport. You illegally streamed it, but you're the ones in the chat talking about how people should be making what. The point is, he was talking about that statistical analytical data of like, yo, this fight is trending like a motherfucker. And it was on social media. So what I'm saying is this: we have enough data here to show, because I'm a big stat guy. We have enough data here to show that we are creating and encouraging the purchase of tickets, the purchase of pay-per-views, the overall growth of the sport. But we're receiving so much resistance. And I'm just like this. Look, I know that I'm not Superman. I've already pumped my my website here. I got to blow my nose. I've already pumped. Hold on 1 minute. I've already pumped maybe about I'm in the process of getting all of our expenses organized because I don't know exactly how much we pay every month or me personally, since, I pay every month, but we're getting our business license. So I'm really trying to legitimize. I am, as I said, my father's terminally ill. He's number one priority in my life. But I noticed that I'm putting so much into this that we are not traveling as much as we should. I mean, basically, with the way things work out, I'm independently wealthy. I don't need to be doing this. But when we had a whole bunch of money tied up in the courts, because about 2 years ago, me and my father was homeless. Like literally, essentially homeless and dirt broke and poor. We had to get partners to maintain all of this. I brought 2 of the partners out, and I have 2 left, and I said, all right, y'all always going to be partners. We're going to get this shit rocking. But in regards to our business plan, it's not working if we don't get credentials for these events. Even though we are financially successful, our numbers are up the last 4 months straight. At the rate things are going, we will have 100,000 subscribers by the way things are going. It says August of 2019. With the way things are trending, we will have 100,000 subscribers. But what's the point of that if we can't get into the events? So we get into some, but not all. For example, they threw us a bone this weekend with tomorrow with the last HBO card, which is awesome because it is the last HBO card. So that's history. But they denied us this week for Canelo versus Fielding. And also they denied us for Wilder versus Fury. Now, what we did was we sent them a frustrating email. The next email we will send will be heartfelt. It's like, yo, what is going on? Because what's happening now is it's become a legal matter. Because, oh, my bad. Let me go back to full screen. It's become a legal matter is because the guys that we're hiring or bringing onto the team are leaving us to go to other organizations because we say we're doing what we're supposed to be doing to get credentials and we're doing more than other channels, but they go look at the other channels and see that those other channels are getting credentials that are not doing more than us that are getting in, and they say, TstreeT, what the fuck is going on? You see what I'm saying? So it makes me like, yo, what, you know? So we are launching the podcast. I've decided that it's best for us going forward. We can't cover the small fights anymore, which is a disrespect to the fighters. I can't. I hate it. I hate it. We can't cover the small fights anymore. And also what I'm going to have to do, hold on 1 minute. Also, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be meeting with the Philadelphia Inquirer and Daily News at the beginning of the new year and see if they want boxing content. Not my content, but whoever we send to the fights, the media workouts, etc. Like, we're working on something big. If the Philadelphia Daily News doesn't work out, then we're going to go to Metro, which they are responsible for making sure they give out free papers on the subways everywhere. We are working on something big. And in my mind, I'm not saying this arrogantly or to be ignorant in regards to not knowing any better. It's hard for me to believe that these people who are responsible for these credentials aren't being deliberately obtuse. It's difficult because I don't want to get into too many details. But one thing for sure is that I'm not doing the brand overall. TstreeT Controversy is the brand. And eventually it will be TstreeT Live. We're going to take the controversy out. But we do talk about the controversial shit. And however, that gets us in trouble even though our content is genuine and unbiased and fair. But when I look at the media who are allowed into these events, and then when I go look at their content, and when I look at if they're helping the sport or not, I say, okay, well, let's screenshot this. Let's screenshot this, and let's create this paper trail. Because I've got to a point right now where it's like, well, since I'm not doing this for the money, how much would it cost us if we lose? Which I don't think that we would lose. But something is going on here and it has to be resolved. And that's why I'm sending these emails, and that's why I'm screenshotting all of this stuff, and that's why I'm doing these videos, because something is wrong. Did you see Barbershop's Conversations video he uploaded about Loma and Donna Stevens' situation? You know, I was in a coma. I'm going to re-upload that video after I woke up and I was all, listen, it's not a joke. And for somebody to try to sensationalize that, uploading the video days later when you should know that media didn't even know. The Showtime telecast, if you watch the Wilder Fury telecast, the Showtime, they didn't know of a Donna Stevenson situation because they would have been talking about it throughout the night. Even though he was at the fight, credentialed. It's crazy as shit. He should have known because he just uploaded the video like yesterday. So, but it's like this. I look at it like this. We're all about free speech here. We used to have a block list. We don't have a block list anymore. Everybody's free to speak their piece. Everybody's free to speak their piece. But I'm going to tell you right now, as I've said and hinted at in different streams, I haven't did an individual video like I'm doing today. Unfortunately, we have to substitute our lower level boxing content and not build up the fighters for more successful content in regards to covering other things. Because I know that if there's certain things I cover that I know we're going to be getting hundreds of thousands of views a month if I decide to cover other things. because I have that range to do so, I did it on the other channel, Into the Arena. I've been trying to strictly cover boxing and combat sports, or even if we substitute for mixed martial arts, because I know people are going to say, well, why don't you cover boxing and mixed martial arts? I can't. I'm going to be doing videos all day and night. I got to sleep sometime. My days, I try to be in bed by 8 p.m., depending on like a regular weekday before fight week. No, before fight week, before the fight and everything like that, fight day. And then my days start about 4 a.m. or so. So it's very disheartening where 11:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would be about 8:30 p.m. over on the West Coast, you get a email saying you got denied for Canelo versus Fielding. When we're streaming media calls and high quality content, it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't even know what their excuse is. I don't even know. I honest to God can't tell you why we are not getting into these. I cannot tell you. This looks like Marquez piss, but this is actually cold brewed iced tea with lemon and ginger root. It's like flu season, so I'm building up my immune system. Looks like that Marquez piss though. So we are going to hopefully align ourselves with a major media company, newspaper, maybe the Philadelphia Inquirer, Daily News. Give them pure, clean content. I'll write an article for every major fight, a pre-fight and post-fight, clean. I don't want them to upload videos like this. Like I want them to upload stuff like if we send Rob to an event, Rob get an interview like he had with us, Cecilia Bracus or Tom Loeffler about the future on Golovkin. I'll say, hey, Philadelphia Daily News, do you want this? Do you want some boxing coverage? Or Metro, do you want this? Philadelphia Tribune. So we're going to start getting to events that way. I've always been a firm believer of, as I said earlier in the video, being transparent and telling people exactly what we're going to do. We have enough content and enough respect in the business and a big enough following and the know-how and connections to be able to do this. And then we're going to start filling out for credentials under these brands or under these companies. But we will be doing a podcast that's going to be covering a wide range of different shit. I'm done with playing around with these people. I'm done. I've asked for a phone conference. I've asked for a phone call, email. What we did was last week, we went and we looked at who was at the press conference, because to be at the press conferences, you had to have credentials, right? And we made sure to look, okay, well, let's go look at that person. Who's that person? What channel is he with? And then we go look, what affiliation are they with? And then we said, oh, yeah, something's wrong here. Something's wrong. But leave your comments, naysayers and trolls too. That's why I freed you. Because I know that you're going to watch all of our videos and you're going to be looking like, he didn't get to events. But guess what? We are, by numbers now, we cover all of the fights. That's number one. But also, the quality of our content is high as shit. I was denying it because I know we can be better. But the quality of our content is high as shit. And our views are definitely there. I did multiple Wilder Fury post-fight videos. So the only people that was ahead of us were the channels that were at the fights. Fight Hub, Fight Hype, Seconds Out, ESPN, and nobody else. Oh, and Hatman Boxing, because my first video got taken down and I had to reshoot. But if it wasn't, then we would have been ahead of him too. That's just facts. That's just a little bit of the data that we have in regards to who was number. We are the number one consistent post-fight reviewer for fights, all of them, small or big, on YouTube. Facts. Look it up. And come back to me. If you want to come back to me with the negative stuff, then come back to me with the positive. Or how about the positive of that? People say, you get denied from events, but yet Even though we're not there in the physical form, we're there because why? We have all the press conferences and all that stuff here. Nobody's giving us the credit for the small stuff. Oh, we got a lot of videos to do, man. I got to get to this right here. This is actually so far pretty good. The Journey Canelo Rocky 2 on the Zone.
Stay away from the corner, the shops, and being a nuisance.
I got to finish checking it out and do a video. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.